A woolly mammoth could weigh 6 tons. Some grew even larger. An adult human weighed perhaps 70 kilograms. A mammoth's tusks could grow longer than a man was tall. Its body was built to survive blizzards that would kill humans in hours. Its muscles could move trees. Its weight could crush bones. One mistake meant death, yet humans hunted them anyway. Not once, not twice, for thousands of years. So how did 70-kilogram humans kill 6-ton giants without getting killed first? Number 10. Find a mammoth already losing. Not every mammoth hunt started with courage. Some started with patience. Some started with waiting. Some started with watching. Hunters watched migration routes. They watched river crossings. They watched watering holes. They watched the weak fall behind. Nature was already fighting the mammoths long before humans arrived. Winter fought them. Disease fought them. Injury fought them. Exhaustion fought them. Deep snow fought them. A mammoth trapped in mud was dangerous. But it was less dangerous than a healthy bull standing on open ground. A mammoth injured during migration was dangerous, but it was less dangerous than an animal protected by an entire herd. Humans learned an important lesson very early. The safest mammoth to fight was the mammoth already fighting something else. Predators understand this instinctively. Lions target the old, wolves target the weak. Humans learned the same rule. A wounded mammoth was not bad luck, it was opportunity. Thousands of kilograms of meat, enough fat for fuel, enough hide for shelter, enough bone for tools, enough food to change an entire winter. The hunt often started long before the first spear appeared, because the first victory was not killing the mammoth. The first victory was choosing the right mammoth. Number 9. Never fight the strongest mammoth. Imagine standing in front of a healthy adult bull mammoth, 6 tons of muscle, tusks longer than spears, legs thicker than tree trunks. That was not prey. That was disaster. Modern lions rarely attack the strongest buffalo. Modern wolves rarely attack the strongest elk. Predators survive because they make good decisions. Humans survived because they did the same. The target was rarely the biggest animal in the herd. It was the oldest, the slowest, the injured, the isolated, the exhausted. Sometimes it was a juvenile that had drifted too far from protection. Sometimes an adult struggling through deep snow. Sometimes an animal weakened by age. A mammoth herd was not simply a collection of animals. It was protection. More eyes, more ears, more bodies, more tusks. Breaking that protection mattered. Because a mammoth surrounded by family was one problem, a mammoth standing alone was a different problem entirely. The first battle of every mammoth hunt happened long before the attack. It happened when hunters stopped and asked a simple question. Which one? Choosing correctly meant survival. Choosing incorrectly meant becoming the hunted. Number 8. No one hunted mammoths alone. One human could not kill a mammoth. That part was simple. 10 humans changed the equation. 20 humans changed it even more. For perhaps the first time in history, organization became stronger than size. Some hunters became scouts. They watched the herd from a distance. They learned routes, patterns, habits. Some became drivers. Their job was movement, pressure, noise, direction. Others carried spears. Others protected retreat routes. Others stayed ready to help injured hunters escape. Everyone had a role. Everyone had a job. A mammoth hunt was not a fight. It was an operation. The mammoth had muscle. Humans had coordination. The mammoth had size. Humans had planning. The mammoth had power. Humans had information. That may have been humanity's greatest weapon. Not sharper stone, not stronger arms, not longer spears. Organization. A mammoth was stronger than any human alive, but it was not stronger than an entire hunting group acting as a single mind. Number 7. Move the mammoth. This may have been the most important stage of the entire hunt, because if the mammoth stayed where it wanted to stay, the humans had already lost. A mammoth on open ground was almost impossible to stop. It could run faster than most people imagine. It could turn faster than something that large had any right to, and once it charged, there were very few second chances. The hunt began long before weapons entered the story. Hunters moved into position. Some spread wide along the flanks. Others stayed behind the herd. Some remained hidden ahead. The goal was not attack. The goal was pressure. A little noise from one side, movement from another, a sudden appearance behind the herd. Slowly, almost invisibly, the mammoth began walking in the direction the hunters wanted. A mammoth moving toward open ground was dangerous. A mammoth moving toward a riverbank was different. A mammoth moving toward deep snow was different. A mammoth moving toward a valley was different. Every step mattered, because every step changed the battlefield. The mammoth believed it was escaping danger. The hunters knew it was approaching it. The fight had not started yet, but the mammoth was already losing ground. Number 6. Turn the earth against it. A mammoth was stronger than a human. The earth was stronger than a mammoth. Humans simply learned to choose sides. Mud became a weapon, snow became a weapon, ice became a weapon, rivers became a weapon, steep slopes became a weapon. A 6-ton animal is terrifying on hard ground. That same animal becomes something very different in deep mud. Every step sinks deeper. Every movement costs energy. Every turn becomes slower. The same body that made the mammoth powerful suddenly became a disadvantage. Weight stopped being strength. Weight became a trap. Hunters understood this. A frozen river crossing was dangerous, not for the hunters, for the mammoth. A steep riverbank was dangerous, not for the hunters, for the mammoth. Deep snow was dangerous, not for the hunters, for the mammoth. The giant carried its own weakness everywhere it went. 6 tons is an advantage when you want to push. 6 tons is a problem when the ground pushes back. Humans never needed to overpower the mammoth. They only needed to remove the advantages that protected it. Sometimes, the landscape did most of the work. Number 5. Leave only one way out. The mammoth was still free, at least that was what it believed. Hunters spread further apart. Pressure increased, noise increased, movement increased. Slowly, the number of choices began to disappear. The herd avoided the shouting. The herd avoided the movement. The herd moved away from danger, exactly where the hunters wanted. Toward the river, toward the valley, toward the marsh, toward the narrow pass. No walls existed, no fences existed, yet the mammoth was already inside a cage. The cage was made from fear. Modern predators still hunt this way, wolves do it, orcas do it, humans learn to do it too. The mammoth still believed it was making decisions. The hunters had already made them first. By now the battle looked very different. The mammoth still had its strength, it still had its tusks, it still had its size, but it was running out of options. And predators rarely need to remove all of your advantages, only enough of them. Because eventually, the difference between a trap and a battlefield becomes impossible to see. Number 4. Make the ground attack. By this point, the hunters had already done most of the important work. The right mammoth had been chosen, the herd had been manipulated, the battlefield had been selected. Now came the next step. Make the world fight for you. Why fight 6 tons of muscle if gravity is willing to help? Some hunters may have used natural depressions, others may have used marshes, others may have driven mammoths toward unstable ground. Some researchers even believe pits may have been prepared in advance. The details are still debated, the principle is not. A trapped mammoth stops being a charging mammoth. Speed disappears, mobility disappears, momentum disappears. For perhaps the first time during the entire hunt, humans controlled the encounter. Even a shallow depression changed everything. A trapped leg changes balance, a lost step changes timing, a delayed turn changes survival. The ground became another hunter. The mammoth was still enormous, still powerful, still dangerous. But danger and control are not the same thing. Humans were beginning to control the fight, and control matters more than strength. Because the safest battle in history has always been the battle that someone else fights for you. Number 3. Bleed the giant. This was the moment the hunt became real. Everything before this point had been preparation. Everything after this point became survival. No stone spear could instantly kill a healthy mammoth. The animal was simply too large, too powerful, too durable. The hunters understood that. The goal was never one perfect strike. The goal was many imperfect ones. A wound to the shoulder, a wound to the flank, a wound to the rear legs, another to the side, another if the opportunity appeared. Each injury alone meant very little. Together they changed everything. Blood left the body, strength left with it, speed left with it. The mammoth slowed, the hunters did not. This was no longer a contest of power, it was becoming a contest of time. A mammoth could survive terrible injuries, but even giants have limits. Muscle needs oxygen, movement needs energy, blood carries both. The hunters understood this long before they understood biology. A giant does not need to die immediately. A giant only needs to become weaker tomorrow than it was today. That was enough. Because humans could wait, humans could follow, humans could return again. Patience became a weapon. And unlike spears, patience never breaks. Number 2. Use its own strength against it. A charging mammoth may have been one of the most terrifying sights in human history. Several tons of muscle, tusks longer than a spear, momentum that could not simply be stopped. So humans stopped trying to stop it. Instead, they learned to redirect it. Some researchers believe hunters may have planted heavy spears into the ground at an angle, not to throw, not to chase, to let physics do the work. The faster the mammoth moved, the harder it struck, the stronger it pushed, the deeper the spear entered. For perhaps the first time in history, humans stopped fighting muscle with muscle. They started fighting muscle with mathematics. The mammoth provided the force. The hunters only decided where that force would go. That may have been one of the most important discoveries our species ever made. Strength can lose, size can lose, momentum can lose, if you can convince them to fight themselves. Because sometimes, the strongest weapon in the world is not force, it is direction. Number 1. Never fight fair. This is the answer, the real answer. Humans never defeated mammoths in fair fights because a fair fight would have lasted seconds, and the mammoth would have won every single time. The mammoth was larger, the mammoth was stronger. The mammoth was faster than most people imagine, its hide was thicker, its muscles were stronger, its tusks were longer than spears. On paper, the outcome should have been obvious. Yet one species vanished, the other built cities. The difference was never strength, it was strategy. Humans never attacked the strongest mammoth. Humans never attacked the healthiest mammoth. Humans never attacked under the best conditions for the mammoth. Instead, they changed the conditions. Choose the weak one, separate it from the herd, move it away from safety, push it toward bad ground, remove its mobility, remove its choices, remove its advantages, then remove another and another and another. Until eventually, the giant had nothing left to stand on except size. And size alone has never guaranteed survival. By the time the first spear entered the animal, the hunt had already been won. Hours of decisions won the hunt. Days of preparation won the hunt. Generations of knowledge won the hunt. The final weapon was never the spear. The final weapon was the plan. Humans did not become the most dangerous hunters on Earth because they were stronger than other animals. Humans became dangerous because they learned how to stack advantages. One small advantage means very little. 10 advantages change everything. That may be the real story of humanity. Not strength, not speed, not size. Preparation, cooperation, planning. The mammoth fought the human standing in front of it. The mammoth never saw the thousands of years of knowledge standing behind them. The evidence left behind. Mammoth kill sites have been discovered across Eurasia and North America. Evidence of weapon damage has been found on mammoth remains. Archaeologists have identified coordinated butchering sites. Mass processing locations suggest large groups work together. Seasonal hunting patterns repeatedly appear near migration routes. Migration bottlenecks repeatedly appear alongside evidence of human activity. Again and again, the evidence points toward the same conclusion. Humans did not overpower mammoths. Humans outorganized them. Mammoths were larger, mammoths were stronger, mammoths were built for the Ice Age. Humans were not. Humans survived anyway, because humans learned how to choose the battlefield, how to choose the moment, and how to choose the rules. Never fight a mammoth fairly, and never make the mistake of fighting humans on human terms.